Welcome to Blood, Sweat and Talanoa, episode 9. BST is a podcast about three guys from Porirua talking about stuff, mainly well-being, but also other contemporary sort of issues as well. I'm here with Te Hau and Te Are. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Kia orana, malonei.
Yeah, good, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. And so we'll get straight underway. Te Hau, introduce our guest.
Yeah. E haka māloa, mahaka tā aloha atu, kia te koutou uma, e haka longa mai, I lunga o te tātou ale leo, tēnei BST podcast, ke haka ai loa, atu te tātou māloa, haka aloha longia, e haka tahima ki tātou I te tātou polokalame nei, te tamana ki a nehi, te nihe, Atoni. Brother, I'll welcome our guest here, Liz Atoni. Tēnihe lehi, a cousin of mine, a relative, and I'm just so grateful and thankful to get to ask you on your journey, cousin, or your genealogy, or from your background, from where you came from. Thank you, Liz, for coming on, Nikas. Really, yeah. So, over to you, Cuz. Yeah.
Yeah, hatai ni te hau, hatai mo te hakahe loa kinga. It's great to see you guys, Shane, Tiare, and yourself. Kaz, thank you for the invite to come on and have a bit of a conversation of Talanoa, korero on this platform, and great to be here. Before I'll introduce myself first, and then we'll go from there. My name is Liz Atoni. I was born in Tokelauan. My parents are the late Tahui Atoni and Atoni. I'm connected to Te Hau on both of my father's side, no, my mother's side. So very, as we know, Tokelauan is a small community that we all, from a couple that first settled in Atahu back in the 1700s. So we're a very small community, and we know we're all connected. And I'm grateful I married a non-Atahu person. Otherwise, I'll be marrying one of my relatives. I'm married to Rachel, and we've got 4 adult children and 6 mokopuna. So I thank God for their blessing. Thank you, Te Hau, again for opening our talanoa with our lotu. Thank you very much. And before I continue, I want to opening by paying tribute. I get really emotional when I do this kind of thing. As you know, the passing away of the matriarch, one of our Atahu Tokelauan community, our founding member, Auntie Lola Rowelu. So I want to take this moment to acknowledge her passing. There's not many of our mother of their generation are left. They have founded our community alongside Auntie Julia, Auntie Matahele, and resting at home. When you look at the journey at those who came across the Pacific to and founded our Tokelauan community, you look around the place, you look around Matawala. I think Auntie Lola was the last active one that has been consistently being at the hall, but apart from Auntie Julia, Auntie Matahele. And I think they are the kind of 3 main people that are still with us. So as we know the legacy before our eyes, there's no need for me to talk about Lola testimony, because you go up to Matawala, you stand on the land, you look at the hall, you look at all the work, and there's the testimony for those parents, where our parents who came to this great place, Aotearoa, New Zealand. So I just want to open our conversation around that, the importance and the legacy we have before us because of those brave young people that came to these shores. And again, I'm very emotional when I talk about that area of my work. It's because we think back of the sacrifices they've made, and not only their family, the financially to build what we have today is quite unique across the motu. The first organisation that is not a church actually have a hall that we can call a home away from home. So it is for those people that we are what we are today, and we're just at the moment, we're just carrying on what they found and what they had put before us, and hopefully we're doing a good job to ensure that we hand it over to the next generations of young people and leaders to carry on their great work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Lord, Les, I think, look, really fitting in terms of your that acknowledgement today. Our thoughts are with the Ruelu family in terms of the passing of their matriarch, and I think you've really captured the words really well in terms of what that means to also the community and also that contribution over many years and sort of the legacy that people like yourself and sort of these emerging leaders are starting to carry forward as well. So whawhatai tele lava, Les, really appreciate you sort of talking to that as we start.
Oh, no, thank you, sir.
So, Les, I think we'll probably do a few circles
Yeah,
as we
sure.
sort of talk through a
Yeah,
number of particular things around community, but also your background in that as
yeah,
well. But if we go to sort of those beginnings, those origins, you talked in terms of Atahu and that as well. You realize my own connection in terms of my
yeah, sure.
children's connection
Absolutely,
to
bro.
Atahu.
Yeah, yeah,
And that as well. But also, your journey in terms of that particular start
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So in 1979, I was very fortunate to gain a scholarship from Tokelauan. So I came to school as an 11-year-old, and I went to I first settled in Masters and uh, um, went there for intermediate. The idea was to us to come to New Zealand, get educated, get a good job, and go back home and give back to our community. Um, it wasn't the case for me. As a lot of us did, went to school, ate lunch, and kind of at the end of your schooling years, you weren't sure what you were doing, what you were going to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah, intermediate, and I ended up in Wesley College up in Auckland.
Mm.
So I went to school up in Auckland and lived in Auckland for most of my life. And in 1987, like I said, was either, I had a couple of things lined up. I actually wanted to join the police force, but they suggested that I join, either the Army, Air Force, or Navy to give me a better chance to get into the force. So I joined the Navy in 1987, and the idea was to stay for a couple of years and then leave. It wasn't the case. I got kind of sidetracked and enjoyed what I was doing, and next thing you know, I got gout and became unfit, and yeah, put on a bit of weight, and I thought, no, I don't think I can handle, going back to training, and so I did 8 years in the Navy, and left, and met my wife down here, Rachel. We got married in 1994, and then that's the year that I decided to leave the Navy and came down to Porirua and start a family here. Um, it took me a couple of years, even though I joined the Atahu group as a young fella from Auckland, but it took me a couple of years to kind of work up the courage to take on a bit of a leadership role. So I became the secretary. I was the secretary for about 10 years of the
Wow.
organisation, and I've been the president of the organisation since 2013.
Oh,
So yeah, it's like I said, it's it was easy walking into it because it's already been set up. Our forefathers already set the place up, and it was just us to continue doing that work and add on more value to the work previously done by um, our ancestors, our parents, and the whole. I see your footprints all over the place up there, bro. So
What
yeah,
on the roof?
on the roof, on the walls, on the ground, up on the trees, down the hill. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's been a pleasure for me. I'm very privileged to be part of that organisation. Um, and while we say it's an Atahu community, one of the things that I really, really love to share is not that we're not exclusively Atahu. Everything that we do up there is about Tokelauan.
yeah.
All the projects, all the programs, um, all the funding that we receive from government, we ensure that we canvass the whole of Tokelau in the region, in the Wellington region. we've also reached out to other, to the Andakonona community in the hut and supported in some ways, and Auckland as well. So yeah, we're a very inclusive society, that I'd like to say, and I want people to understand, to know that yes, it's called Atahu Tokelauan community, but we're very inclusive. We're very mindful that we're not just Atahu. We are the work done by our forefathers. Yes, it is for, but I'm pretty sure it's for the whole of our Tokelauan community and the wider Porirua community. And I'm really hoping that whatever the work that we're doing up there, it's kind of has a ripple effects throughout our Porirua, our Porirua community. Yeah, I think one of the challenge for us at the moment, and then for churches as well, is that how do we connect our youth, our young people? How do you reconnect our young people to their roots? And likewise up in Matawala, how do we reconnect? Um, a lot of us have gone on, doing things which are great things, but how do we bring them back into the fold? Because at the end of the day, the place, the community was founded because we wanted a family to come together and be as one. Yeah.
Yeah. Les, one of the things I think is really important where you talk about is that sort of connection and that as well, where in earlier episodes we talked about sort of identity and the importance of we are who we are and where we come from. What's your sort of thoughts as you look to sort of connect youth and that as well? Where does that sort of connection in terms of language, in terms of culture, how do you sort of foster that?
Yeah, so a lot of our work, we have a group of young people, or a youth, like Joe Kisona, for example, with Tina Olofa. They do a lot of work with us, with the committee, in terms of how do we bring the community, the young people together. So this, as I said, is a challenge for us, as well as other organisations. So we have, we're very fortunate to have some funding to run programs. We run youth camps. We're connected with the school with the Glenview School, with our Tokelau unit there, which the community has founded. We're connected with Porirua College. We run Tokelau language classes up there as well. We At the moment we've got SCA level 1, 2, and 3 running up on Matawala on a Monday night, where young students, year 11, year 12, year 13, could come and get assessed, and gain credits for at NCA level. Um, the language week is really, really important to us, even though it's not enough. We just don't want to rely on 1 week a year to do all our big hateles, big hivas, but it needs to be, we need to do it more regularly. So we are constantly looking out for funding to run those programs. Unfortunately, this year we don't have a language week because of the hatele event. We just couldn't get the arena or the at Walter Nash. But yeah, and we're not just relying on those events as well. We just really want to encourage our young people to come up to Matawala during events, during funerals, during whatever it is, just to be immersed within the environment where the language is spoken. So we just don't want to
Yeah.
rely on doing things. We just want to, people just come up freely and listen to the adults talking and singing, and get that learning. Just be immersed in that Tokelauan environment, and hearing the language, the storytelling, and the song. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good. I think how one of the things we have talked about in an earlier sort of episodes too was that walking between worlds. How do you how can you sort of encourage those that sort of move between those different sort of settings, and in terms of that anchor of their Tokelauan identity?
Yeah. It's one of the things that the challenge, you often hear it from the young people, know that the language is a barrier for them to come up. They don't understand. They felt that
Yeah.
they have no place in a meeting where they can be heard. So it is my role to talk to adults, to matua, and just for their patience, for their understanding, and ensuring that our young people are heard within. And when we are heard during our meetings, that we give it the opportunity for someone to stand up and actually ask a question, have put emotions through, And I think we have starting to see so young ones coming through, but not enough, not nearly as enough that what we're hoping to. But I think if we continue what we're doing and ensure that we value the voice of your young people, and one of the things that we normally do as well is that when we look at projects that we shoulder tap people, because we know that a lot of people are sitting at their home thinking, how can I connect with my community? I just don't want to turn up because I feel whakama that. But it's
Yeah.
important for us, the committee, to actually approach that person. Like, we have a finance team, we have a team that look after our IT stuff, our funding. So we come up with names and families that are not connected. How about we ask their parents for shoulder tap? No, it's meaningful for them to come up, give them some responsibility, and to come up. Like we've got some young people looking after our Wakaama group. We
Wow.
got juniors that will be going to the regional in Masterton and Lake Karapiro up in the Waikato.
Yeah.
So we've shoulder tap young people to look after that project. Um, you've got another young people that help out with their finances. So all those things that we need to do more of it, and it has to be meaningful for that person. Give them a sense of belonging, a sense of they're achieving something, they're doing something meaningful for the community. That's one way that we're looking. How do we encourage and at the same
Yeah.
time, talking to our elders just to be patient and understanding, the Tokelauan way and the New Zealand way in terms of adults and young people, the place of young people here in New Zealand compared to the place of young people in Tokelauan, and how do we merge those two worlds?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, kia ora, Les. Hey, there's great initiatives. With the Cook Island culture, we're sort of leading that. We're sort of around that how your guys are going as well. So as Shane said in our early episodes, I've just started learning my language, bro,
Yeah,
and I'm in my 50s now. So me and my eldest daughter, and it's been a good journey, and
yeah,
we're doing our second level starting this week,
nice,
online. So it's been awesome that I was able to do it with my daughter. Lucky because,
nice.
man, I don't know
Yeah,
where to start.
yeah,
So what you're doing, what I can hear, yeah, that's awesome too. And I know the Cook Island, because I'm up on the coast of the Cook Island, a lot of the Cook Island groups down here in Porirua,
yeah,
they run a lot of, there's a lot of, you got your little islands and stuff, and they do their
yeah.
gigs. Hey, I've got a question though. But it's
You
going to
right?
go back to when you left Tokelauan to come to New Zealand to
Yeah,
Wairarapa.
yeah.
Did you come to New Zealand? Did you find that going to school in New Zealand, did you already know English? Like, obviously, when
Uh,
they gave you the scholarship?
it was minimum, bro. I could hardly string a
Oh,
4 words
yes, yeah,
together.
yeah. I'm interested in that because I had a brother that came from Cooks straight to New Zealand and he couldn't
Yeah,
even speak
yeah.
the English.
It's even though that we spoke a little bit back home, but
Mm.
yeah, it was really it was one of the barriers, one of the things that I drew to coming to New Zealand is not being able to communicate with the Palangis.
Far out.
So,
And of course, and I think today's are very, very different back in the days because they used to tease you a lot.
yes. Yeah,
If you couldn't speak properly or
Yeah.
the term coconut, the term bunga,
yeah.
the term
Oh,
Yeah.
all those things back in the days were just kind of like
yeah.
but now it's kind of it's yeah, but yeah,
So,
it is
so did you board? Well, what school did you attend there in Wairarapa?
mastered intermediate, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
So
were you
I
did you have
went to
to
mastered
live?
intermediate,
Yeah.
and at the boarding school was called Shisley House, and
Oh,
we didn't realize until after I left was a Boston was where the was like Ipuni was where
oh,
the
yes,
Oh,
yeah.
naughty
yeah.
Oh,
kids
Oh,
true.
used
whoa.
to go.
A bit of a mixture.
Yeah, it wasn't until I went to Auckland and I
Yeah.
found out what a boarding school is,
Yeah,
Wesley
yeah,
College.
yeah. Wesley
And I've
College.
always wondered why all these cops used to turn up,
Oh, oh, oh,
and bring kids to
yeah.
new students to the
Oh, so it was like SIFs back then.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't know.
Okay.
I think a lot of boys didn't know that it was a home for boys.
So was there a number of you guys that came over from Tokelauan at that time that got scholarships?
Yeah, I think my year it was about 11 of us.
Oh, wow.
A couple of us went to Masterton. 3 of us went to Masterton. Some went to Whangarei Boys. Some went down south. But yeah, people come in
Les,
after
I've got a
school.
question, cuz sorry, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Sorry, I don't want to break.
Yeah.
Because coming from Tokelau and always having mum and dad and your siblings, bro, it must have been hard, man. Like what the heck? You're
Yeah.
here at a new land,
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
You see all the Palangis, Maoli that you probably weren't used to. I mean,
Yeah.
was there like, for example, you're going to school, you're sort of like listening to these,
Yeah.
whether it was a man or a woman teaching you now, so you had to sort of adapt. Or
Yeah.
how did you, how did you do that? Like,
Couldn't, bro. No, when we came from home back in 79, 80, we didn't, there was no, you couldn't call directly from Tokelau to New Zealand. It was by wireless, by telegram.
Mm.
The boat used to go to Tokelau 3 times a year.
Oh,
And my
yeah.
only communication with my parents was through letters
Wow.
that, like I said, the boat goes every three times a year, which carries the mail from, so I didn't speak to so I'll get a letter that is about 4 months old,
wow.
from my parents. And yeah, it really was really, really hard. And, not, it's kind of like when we left home, you get on a boat, you kind of sailed. It took us about 5 days to get to Samoa, 4 or 5 days to get to Samoa. It was kind of like, as a young person, I was thinking, I'm going to the end of the world. I'm going to nowhere
Mm.
that, to somewhere that I have little
Yeah,
knowledge of. It's kind of like blind, traveling, just blind.
Yeah. And
But
being at that
yeah, it
age
was
too.
really
Yeah.
difficult. And of
difficult.
course, one of the
Wow.
things, which a lot of us didn't do well at school back then because of the language. We were shy.
Mm.
Yeah,
We looked different from a lot of students. Yeah, we were scared to ask questions, and
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
thanks for answering my question. But you went to Wesley College. Was Jonah Lomu around then?
John Alone no, I'm way older, bro. John Alone,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was probably
John
like,
Alone was it was a 3 years after
oh,
me.
yeah.
When I
Okay.
went to Wesley, it was only wasn't many PI there at the time.
Oh.
I think it was around about 10 or 15. Now that I hear there's a lot
Yeah.
of Tongans, a lot of Fijian, a lot of Samoans, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
no, John Alone was a few years after I went, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It sounds like a lot of these experiences have really sort of pushed you outside your comfort zone in a number of
Mm.
sort of situations, Lehi. I mean,
yeah,
what learnings did you sort of take away from those experiences and being in those situations?
yeah. So naturally, when I left Wesley College, I kind of used that life at Masterton in the boarding environment. We lived with a number of people from different background,
Mm,
and I went to Wesley College. I learned to live with, people, 300 other people, and I felt kind of naturally that I joined the Navy, kind of like the same kind of
yeah.
setup. Um, so I've learned to be, and then I said this to people: would you recommend it for people to, boarding school and the Navy? And I said, look, I'll, um, I would like to have my son go and do a couple of years because it disciplines you.
Mm,
You look after yourself. You do your own washing. You do your own ironing. You're cooking. You're cleaning. You don't rely on your mum and dad to to make your lunch or
Mm.
do your washing. So it's about discipline is about time management, which is a big thing in the military, that you gotta be on time. You gotta be on time. You gotta be at least 15 minutes. I know that I was a bit late this morning today, but
Ah,
a
yeah,
lot of
right.
things about how to become how do you become independent? Like, I went up to Matawala this morning to help clean the fish. So I didn't go to church. This is my excuse. So we said last night, 9 o'clock,
Yeah,
we met at Matawala to the men. No, I got there just on 9 o'clock, and the boys turned up about 9:30, and so clean up first. But yeah, I think the learning is just how do you discipline yourself
Yeah.
growing up in that environment, and boarding school, and the Navy, and being independent, being able to look after yourself, not having to rely on mum and dad. Like right now I still do my washing. I still do my not washing, my ironing, and there's little things that I
Yeah, because you
you
get the
know
fine
that
lines on the ironing.
You still got the good
The fine
crease.
lines, the crease.
yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
it, mate. You gotta have those lines. Yeah, you had the lines on your shirt, lines on your yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm glad you talked about time management because these two trying to run a podcast with these two.
Oh,
I
that's fine.
don't know. But I mean, what Leahy, what was your role in the Navy? What
Yeah.
I was
what
in the navigation branch, so I was in the radar. I was in the radar branch, part of the Siemens branch, but I specialised in as a radar plotter.
mm,
So it's what you call the engine room of the where the war is fought, where the captain sits when on his base in a ship with just basically radar screens all over the place, where he shows you a map of the ocean and the skies where all the ships are, the submarines and the aircrafts, and it kind of it's like the nerve center of the ship where the battle is fought from. So we detect unknown ships and aircraft, and we find out what the history is, where they're from. We'll find out where they're going, what course they're doing, how fast they're going, what capability they have, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So you know, look,
apart from doing the paint,
watching.
a lot of painting and stuff. Yeah, cleaning.
So does it
God.
help when you go out on the boat now in terms of fishing, finding the fish?
No, no, because back in the days we just rely on technology, not
Yeah,
like back in Tokelauan days that you rely on your traditional knowledge or where the
knowledge.
fishing grounds are, the wind, and you join the Navy, it's all about the modern technology, and yeah, you got to have those gadgets.
Wow.
Now, go.
Shane,
Gary, you
sorry,
go.
bro. Hey, there was another one of my other cousins, like yourself, was in the Navy. There was Tom Sonari.
Yeah,
Hey, was he same year or was he before?
yeah,
I
he
don't
is.
know.
So Thompson, he joined a couple of years after me. He joined he was a medic,
Oh,
and
Ah,
then he changed over. He settled in, and then he decided to become a marine mechanic. So he changed branch, he retrained, and became a marine mechanic. Yeah, I catch up with Thompson now and again.
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
is that like dealing with the engineering side of things? Of the
yeah.
is he
Still
still
down
in
there.
there? Is he
Still
still
down
active?
there.
Nah,
Sorry?
Oh, he's not active
I
anymore.
don't
No.
think
No,
Thompson
no,
is.
no, no. He
No.
left. He left before I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think he got himself a girlfriend and
as you
Not
do.
from the same island.
jumped ship.
So, Lee, I mean, that pretty much, you talked about your background in terms of also the Navy and that did lead you into quite a varied range for areas of work. Working in housing in general, but also in the mental health area. Sort of was that sort of a natural sort of progression for you in terms of when you left the Navy into those roles that you've subsequently been in?
Yeah, when I left the Navy, I really didn't have any idea what to do, and because I love people, I love being around people, and I had a relative up in Auckland that worked in disability, and he used to bring some of those clients to the house, and this way I got to kind of, oh, maybe there's something I can do. I like people, I like meeting different people, so that's how it got me into it. I don't have a clinical background, but what I worked in a community, and then I had the opportunity to manage a team of people that are working in the community, and that's where my involvement with the mental health and disability was managing staff. But like I
Yeah,
said, I don't have their background, but I surely have learned a great deal over the years working in disability and mental health. I'm not working in mental health at the moment. I'm working as an advisor for Emerge Aotearoa. So Emerge Aotearoa is an organisation that has health and disability, housing, counselling. It's a huge organisation. It's about 1,800 staff up and down the country. So I cover the central region and some of the Waipunama. Yeah. But certainly, I have a passion in working and supporting, our mental health initiative within our communities. Yeah.
Well, look, in terms of I'm really interested in your observations, particularly one not a clinical background, but just being Pacific, being Tokelauan, just in terms of what's it like through that lens in terms of looking at things like disability and mental health.
Yeah, I think as we know, for Tokelau, a lot of people, Tokelau needs to differentiate between disability and mental health, two different things. And with regard to mental health, we need to understand it's an illness or a journey that you go through. You get treated and recover. It's not like it's not like that that's it for life. It's for life. It's about knowing that it's like the flu. You get the flu, you get treated, you get well, and look at it that way rather than as you know. Sometimes a lot of us look at it as it's hereditary. Something happened back home. You've been naughty. You've done this, and that's why you've got this issues around your mental health issues. But it's really important that there are ways of dealing with it in terms of what are some of the areas that you need to be mindful of for your recovery, particularly around mental health. So and us Tokelau, we know our people. We know how do we look after ourselves. It's about caring, really. No, sometimes it's not difficult to support someone with mental health issues. It's about having that patience, having that love, having that faith that things will, you'll get better, and supporting that person or family, having the opportunity to have a conversation, and it's okay that how you're feeling, that it can be treated, and you become well again, and on your your previous, what you could do previously. But yeah, it's important. We're people that we respect our people, and it's about that. It's about respecting the individual, their journey, and helping them through. Ask me questions, bro. Otherwise, I'll just lose myself in our conversation.
Well, look, I'll just ask one more because I know the guys will jump in. That being a people leader in the mental health space, what's your sort of what value in that, and the importance of the roles like the navigator roles in terms of supporting people in the community?
How do we support people in the community in their
Or
recovery
just
journey?
the importance of roles like the navigator roles in terms
Yeah,
of supporting consumers.
yeah. It's really important because that's your role in terms of how do you walk alongside this person to recover, for recovery. How do it's about setting goals. It's about sitting down with the individual, setting goals of this is some of the things that you want to work towards. About independently catching the bus, for example, and it's about shadowing and making sure that there is the plan is followed and it's completed. It's about it's just showing a lot of patience for that. It could be a challenging environment to work in the field, but it's about you thinking, look, I'm work. It could be my mother, it could be my father, it could be my child. What else can I do to ensure that I am doing the best that I can to support the person that I'm supporting? I would do the same thing. What can I do? If it was my father or my family, what else? What else I can go above what I'm doing to ensure that. But navigation model is important because it's how you model. It's how you you want the person to be able to see you, that you are actually passionate about you doing, not just turning up to do the hours and go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's really showing love and care.
Mm.
And there's a lot of
Yeah,
planning
no,
as well. And
yeah, you're right there. There's early episodes I mentioned that side of thing with regards to one of my family members, through mental health, and it's taken me probably 8-10 years just to reconnect
yeah,
again. And it's been probably 3 months now that I'm continuously catching up with him now
yeah,
on a Sunday, and we're just having our time, and I can see the improvement since then. And like you said, it is a journey. It takes patience, but right at the start of the mental health thing, yeah, I guess we were lost as a
yeah,
family. Oh,
yeah,
what happened? And blah, blah, blah. And then you get all that, and then that all happens, and then yeah. So I'm grateful that we've got in contact, then reconnected
yeah,
again. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, and like you said, it takes time.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Some people recover quite, in a shorter while. Some people take time.
Mm,
And you just got to have that patience just to keep walking, keep continuing to support their loved one through, whether it's a person of your family or at your work. Um, and it's important as well that we, as navigators and support workers, that we check in as well, that we're okay as well.
mm.
Got to care, self-care, as
Yeah.
well as caring for the people that we are supporting. Some of us tend to um, just to not worry about ourselves, but worry about the person that we are supporting. But yeah, it's kind of two-way thing. You've got to really check in on yourselves as well.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Les, mental health week's coming up, the 23rd of September. The theme this year as community is what we create together. Just given your experience in working in the sector and that, what would that sort of look like, or what are some things that are really mindful for communities to be able to support people,
Yeah,
going through that mental health journey?
yeah. Community inclusion is really, really important. It's one of the things that through something
Mm.
helpful. The 5 areas of making sure that you have enough rest, making sure you're eating well, making sure that um, you keep active, and that doing something helpful, and that's around community inclusion. That whatever that if you're a community, that you make sure that you include those people who are going through their journey. You bring them up because a lot of them tend um, to be doing their own thing or staying home. It's important that they come out and join the community. They feel good about it. And again, it's
Mm.
about the young people that I talked about. How do you influence them and give them something meaningful to do in your community, not just to bring up and be included in your cup of teas and that, but give them something meaningful, a role that is meaningful to them. Inclusiveness
Mm.
it's a big thing. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of them of our people live in isolation, including the elderly. But in terms of mental health, we need to. A lot of them don't like going out. But it's about
Mm,
our community need to. Um, no, it's a good point that you brought up, Shane. That as a community, as Matawala, I've never thought about doing that. Having an event where the theme would be, wellness and well-being for mental health. It may be something for us to look at, but it's important that we um, normalize it. It's not, we don't brush it aside, but continue to have that open conversation, just like any other things. Uh,
Mm.
mental health in other communities is something that we don't really talk about, but we need to
Yeah.
need to
continue to
open up. Yeah.
talk about and open up and give people the confidence to talk about their journey, because I think one of the things that we need to do, and we have got families that are living through that, going through a journey as well, and it's about them confident
Mm. Oh, man.
to be open about it and say, look, your story could help this person here. So talk about it, open up about it, and there's no shame, nothing about mental health. Ladies' mental health journey. It's just normal life, not this weekend. Yeah, I want to just that's something that I've got to really think about. Something I haven't now that we talk about how we my community event.
Yeah,
Different
I would.
but community itself in tutors. I don't think it's something big on the yearly calendar, and I think it's important that we start thinking about the kind of events within our communities.
Yeah, no, thanks, Les. And look, I think this was the importance of one of the areas that, talking with you today was to sort of talk, and particularly with someone who has sort of worked in the sector and can talk a lot more and share some of those sort of key things that is really mindful for us as a community to be aware of. Cool. Look, Les, coming back to sort of the community sort of work that you do and your voluntary sort of commitment and tautua and service in the community is just what's you think you talked right at the beginning about sort of the leadership of the community in terms of setting the path in those initial sort of bits of work like Matuala Hall and that over the last 30, 40 years. I'm just thinking with sort of that particular, as you continue to develop leadership and that within the community, just some important thoughts you have, and particularly with, you're starting to look at, that next emerging group. I think people like yourself are now sort of moving sort of to that leadership sort of role within the community, but also what's that sustainability and continuation of building leaders and emerging leaders to carry on working in the community?
Thanks, Shane. I thought you said people like you are looking old and it's time to go to the party. Basically, that's
Well,
what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. And I think it's about in April we launched our 30-year master plan, the Daiuli master plan. If you look it up on our website, you'll have a look.
It's
And it's
I've
about
seen. Yep.
so it is about youth development. One of our goals within the six strategies strategic pole within it is developing youth and leadership. So it's about us having a plan going forward. How do we? And again, I mentioned young people within our community and having different roles within in our committee, and it's about developing that the next wave of our young people to take on the role. It's we see that what we have up on the hill. It's a great thing for Tokelauan. And in order for us to move forward and to carry on that legacy, that we need to continue the development of young leaders within our community. So yeah, and if we have a team that kind of look after the youth, the youth initiatives. Yeah, really, really important. Really, really important that we start looking at seriously the next lot of people to take on uh, the kaitiaki really of the Tokelauan community.
Look, what I really love about our communities is, and particularly in that Pacific space, is we sort of evolve in terms of the environment, the circumstance, and we also leverage sort of from the collective those skills that we need in terms of working together as a community. And I think the work that you've done with the strategic plan and a number of other initiatives, particularly around language and that, has really sort of set a good example of that, of growing the community, but also some developing skills in that people have and being able to utilize them for that collective
Yeah,
good
yeah,
of the community.
yeah. The other thing good to Shane, look, we've got a committee of really, really dedicated people that bring a special skill into it. We've got people like Definer, some of us have grown up within the realm of the grounds of Mutawala and still have that. The whole, you're nodding your head, brother, up on the hill.
Because
Yeah,
you know what?
it's
Good.
bringing all those people. Because, we've got nurses in our committee, we've got young people. We have a very young young members in our committee, and I'm very, very grateful for the elders to have given us the blessing to manage our community. Of course, everything goes back to our community for approval, but they've given us the blessing to go on and do things, and we're very, very lucky. And once again, what we're doing today is nothing compared to those who set up to the organisation in the 50s and the 60s and 70s. That's where the hard work was. That's where the hard work and blood, sweat, and tears was back in those years.
Because Liz, I said to the boys, hey, like my dad back in the 80s, I think it was, there was a kilikiti, those who don't know what it is, the Palangis are listening. We have cricket, and we have that in the summer back then. I think you came down. I don't know if you stayed with the late Uncle Ihaya those days, but you were at one of the cricket games, and my dad said, "Hey, go and see." He was so he was so proud. I mean, that's one of the nephews from back home. He's been scholarship. Now he's in the Navy. This is my dad, eh? So you go and say hello to our my nephew. yeah. And here, Les. So I was real shy, because naturally we were shy anyway, So I think Dad knew that you had a hard, coming as a scholarship and then going up Auckland, coming back down, just giving your time to the people coming and seeing all of us. So Dad probably wanted me to come and say hello to you, but I think that was the cricket days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you hit a six those days, but
you know what? I'm useless. I can't play cricket. It's a game that I hate. I just stand under the trees.
Then how come you came to all those cricket games with Simon, me and Simon and Sam?
I just want to be in with the boys.
For those that don't know, Lehi, there was a cricket team, a Tokelauan cricket team that I was privileged to be part of, and Lehi was always sort of there on the Saturdays. Yeah, but he didn't field.
I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless.
And also, Liz, I just because I still wanted to see if if this is true too. I know you played with Saints, or you were part of like a player coach, or you just went to the finals. Was that right, Liz?
No, I coached St. George. The senior taken for about a couple of years, and then they were so desperate to get a premier coach for the Preems. I coached for 2 seasons. They're desperate to get a premier coach. So they say, "Hey, do you want to come and run the water for the?" So I ended up coaching the Preems for a couple of seasons.
Yeah. I thought you were player coach, or you were.
No. I got injured when I was up in Auckland. So yeah. So
what years was that, Les? Back in the
Ghana, you played, your time was back then. I think it was I came after you retired, and after you
after I went to Atoni.
Oh right, yeah. It was Simon Benaya that had got me to coach.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we have to be careful. People might think there's a real St. George bias going on in this podcast. All these people connected to the club.
Papa helped out. Yeah, he helped me one season as well.
No, hey, well, Les, look, talking about rugby league, one thing I did want to sort of ask you is in terms of because the Porirua Sharks, the Tokelauan National Tour, biennial Tokelauan tournament every 2 years. I think there is a real connection, one between participation sport, but then also their theme of sort of identity culture, the cultural events and that as well. The items and that. So those have always been something that when I've associated with the Tokelauan community has always been that tournament every 2 years and bringing everyone together from around the country.
Yeah, it looks like that. We've started up again, and obviously the one we had last year was a huge success for the whole of Tokelauan, and it's the biggest reunion. I think it's the biggest island festival, if you like, in New Zealand. Where people come all over and I think Auckland will be hosting the next one next. I think next year. Yeah, so Auckland will be hosting, and it's something that that everyone looking forward to. Everyone looking forward to those tournaments. They're reconnecting of families and friends, and of course, on the rugby field, and especially the dancing. The dancing has been a great feature of these tournaments. But as always, those rugby games, so get your own relative can be quite daunting and scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, playing with your cousins and yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've liked a couple only through my sort of connection with the
yeah,
Sharks around sort of participating, but also participating in everything to make
mm,
sure that you're actually, sort of integrating into the whole sort of kaupapa of the weekend and of the event.
yeah, yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
you
You
make
say
a
kaupapa?
Hey guys, can I just say something too as well? That those people that are listening, over in Brisbane or in Australia, um, some of my friends too, the Palangis that I worked with, they didn't know what Tokelau was. They've never known who we are. Our people are. So I used to say some Tokelau words to them, and I said, "Man, I'm not fluent in Tokelau, but you've met a Tokelau. We're not Niuean, we're not Tongan, we're not Samoan. That kind of stuff."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
being over in Australia,
yeah,
I got to sort of say that and get and I had some the modern technology now. This is what Tokelau looks
yeah,
like.
yeah,
These are our people,
yeah.
and they were just never heard of us.
Oh, no, the
Never
whole,
heard of
it's not, for example, New Zealand is not well known in the United States. I work with some guys in the United States and said, oh, you never know where New Zealand was. They thought New Zealand was Australia. They thought New Zealand was up in the North Pacific. But
Ooh,
so
wow,
imagine Tokelau being a way smaller country. Yeah, yeah, a lot of people in the world don't know what Tokelau is. And one of the things that when I talk about the Pacific, because I do a bit of around the Pacific at work, is about yes, we are Pacific. We have so many nations within the South Pacific. Our values and our culture are the same, but we're very unique in our own little ways. So
Yeah,
don't group us in all in one basket as Pacifica people are the same. So it's
yeah,
definitely we're very unique. The Samoan are very unique in their own ways. The Cook
yeah,
Islands are themselves as well. As Tokelau are very unique as well. Not say, bro, don't put us all in one basket. But yes, we are. We are
yeah,
Pacifica brothers and sisters, but
Mm,
yeah,
we have our own something that's unique about
mm,
Tokelau, Samoa, Cook Island. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
mm,
definitely. It seems to be a very bureaucratic trend to sort of
yeah,
continue to sort of lump us all together,
yeah,
and particularly, the connection is Moana Nui a Kiwa,
yeah,
but also
yeah,
there is nuance between all of our different
yeah,
sort of communities.
yeah, 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 definitely.
Yeah. Now, Les, just before we sort of head into that final sort of part of it, one of the things, just wanted to sort of talk with you about, you're a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit,
yeah,
awarded in 2022. And just wanted to, and I've heard you speak about this elsewhere. So,
mm,
one, in terms of just, your acknowledgement in terms of the community as a whole, and also that, that it's a part of a long line of people in terms of service to the community. And that one of the things, just before I get you to talk about it, is also just it's significant in the sense that 30 years ago you didn't get a lot of people from the Pacific sort of acknowledged, or tangata moana acknowledged for work in the community, and really, I think an acknowledgement of your honour and a number of others in the community is now sort of a much more sort of recognition around that sort of service and that through in the community. But yeah, just definitely want to just
Yeah,
get you to talk a little bit
yeah,
about that.
yeah. Thank you, Shane. You mentioned about 30 years ago that we weren't didn't factor well in terms of the recognition, but if 30 years ago had we known now how the connection in terms of how to make those nominations, I would have put all those people up at Mataoala and Tokelau would have been honours, receiving honours for their work. We're just very fortunate that we got that there are people that knows the system now that do manage to get some of the nominations through. But all the forebears who founded this community well deserve
Yeah.
of those honours. And I've said it before, we stand on the shoulders of giants. right? And those, and most of them have gone now.
Yeah.
So when people talk about the honour that I had received, I feel a little bit whakamā, I feel a little bit about, because it's there. I should be the one wearing that. Those people have gone before us. That's their thing. That's their award. That's their But I'm so it's always in my heart that I'm wearing it for them. It's not my work. It's not any of his work. It's not his work. It's the work that was. I kind of try not to really talk about it, because I feel that
Yeah.
um, justice wasn't done. Should have been done a long time ago, and those people who have founded our community should have been acknowledged accordingly. Yeah, but and I'm very privileged, and I'm very honoured to receive it on behalf of our communities, our fathers and mothers who have still with us today, and particularly for those who have gone before us. But it's an honour. Yeah.
It's
I'm going to find
it's you're lost of words, because it's an honor. How humble you are, very naturally, Cuz Les, you're a very humble person anyway. I think it's our fathers and due to our parents' upbringing, and man, bro, it's a blessing that you've come on. And sorry, Cuz, that I didn't come up and have a couple of you, or even share to you, or even come and see you. I haven't seen you yet, but I will, because I'm always in
Yeah,
and
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
But
I
I'm
see you
here
up there,
now.
bro.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I see you up there.
but no doubt I'll see you later on.
Yeah,
Later
yeah,
on,
yeah,
it's coming soon. So
yeah.
but thank you, bro.
find
Over
it.
to these brothers. I just want to say thank you, bro, for coming
Thank you,
on,
Tahu.
cousin.
Thank you, cuz.
Yeah,
So Leahy, any final words in terms of additional to what we've sort of covered
Yeah,
for this episode?
yeah. Shane, I think in terms of mental health, the importance of reaching out to our family, our whānau out there, that are going through a journey, connect, talk to somebody, come to our community. One of the, the best thing to do is to come and be surrounded by your people. Stay connected, young people. We ask that you stay connected to your community. Um, come up and there are a lot of issues around drug and alcohol in our community, and I one of the things that we did a few months ago is to submit something to Parliament about the sale of liquor and alcohol. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, so and again, it's about how do we just to cry out to young people and the parents, connect, um, connect with their community. We're always up on the hill. To come and hang out with us. But in terms of mental health, please, I want to say, share. Don't be scared to share your story.
yeah,
Don't be scared to share your mental health story, because you could help someone.
Someone else.
And we need to be brave enough and not to be feel whakamā about going having that the mental health journey. Be open, and you will get well. Um, Make a phone call, talk to somebody. If you're unsure, talk to your neighbor, talk to your friend. Your friend can connect you to the right people. Um, it's about communicating. Get it, don't hold it in within you. I just want you to reach out.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Leahy.
No, yeah, that's
Cool.
been great.
Well, Leahy, look, I really appreciate your talking with us. It was really great to have you on. I think it's really. I just think the time that we've spent this talking has been really just important. It really talks to the essence of yourself. Really, a person serving the community, but also in terms of your experience and talking to some of these spaces that you've sort of worked in, and what people can sort of take away from that, but also in terms of just providing a bit of guidance as well. So thank you very much in terms of the time. If there's an opportunity to come back and have a talanoa, we'd always look forward to it. So we just really wish you well in terms of your continued work in the community and now with Emerge and that, but also just your continued sort of leadership with Matuala, but then also the wider Tokelauan community as well. So whawhate tele lava laususonga, really appreciate sort of our time. Cool.
Well done.
Thank you,
Cool.
guys. Again, thank you for the opportunity to come on and have the talanoa or kōrero about things in general, and grateful for the opportunity, and hopefully it makes sense to a lot of our to our whānau, our family. So yeah, and once again, thank you, me taki māta te are.
Thank you.
Thank you, person.
That's great. So look, we'll take it out. So thank you everyone in terms of for the podcast. Remember to like and join the Facebook page. We're sort of tracking now towards 450 members, and hopefully we'll sort of be climbing in that as well. So always appreciate every Tuesday at 7 p.m. in terms of the Blood, Sweat, Talanoa podcast. And we'll look forward to seeing everyone next week, where we've got Phil Marshall, who's coming in to talk about Masters Rugby League, but also about work around Kohanga Reo. And again, tied with the Talanoa with Lehi today, around that importance around language, and particularly for generations that are either a little bit removed or have had barriers or challenges in terms of being able to sort of connect to that richness in terms of language and also as well. So we'll see everyone next week. Mate wā.
Ka kite tō whā.
Let's go.